Close your eyes for a moment and feel the weight of every thought that drifts through your mind. Some are gentle whispers of hope, while others are sharp, heavy shadows that cling and whisper lies about your worth, your power, your future. Today, I want to speak to those shadows, the toxic thoughts that sneak in when we are tired, lonely, or afraid. I want you to know this: they do not define you, they are not your truth, they are not your destiny. And the first step toward freedom, toward living fully and joyfully, is learning how to release them, how to sweep them away like autumn leaves in the wind. What I am about to share is not just advice, it is an invitation to claim the peace, the clarity, and the brilliance that have always been your birthright. Close your eyes for a moment and feel the weight of every thought that drifts through your mind. Some are gentle whispers of hope, while others are sharp, heavy shadows that cling and whisper lies about your worth, your power, your future. Today, I want to speak to those shadows, the toxic thoughts that sneak in when we are tired, lonely, or afraid. I want you to know this: they do not define you. They are not your truth. They are not your destiny. And the first step toward freedom, toward living fully and joyfully, is learning how to release them, how to sweep them away like autumn leaves in the wind. What I am about to share is not just advice, it is an invitation to claim the peace, the clarity, and the brilliance that have always been your birthright. Your mind is a sacred space, and not every thought deserves the right to live there. Toxic thoughts are often loud, persistent, and persuasive, but they are guests, not rulers. They arrive unannounced, dressed in fear, regret, or anger, hoping you will mistake them for truth. But you have the power to recognize them, to name them, and to quietly, firmly tell them that their time is over. When you begin to treat your mind as the temple it is, you discover that peace is not a distant dream. It is present, waiting for you to claim it. Often we hold on to toxic thoughts because they feel familiar, because they echo voices from the past or the world around us. We replay our mistakes, we relive old hurts, and we believe that carrying these thoughts makes us prepared or wise. But in truth, every toxic thought you entertain is a chain that binds you to yesterday. Every moment you allow fear, self-doubt, or resentment to speak louder than hope, you deny yourself the joy of living fully in this moment. Freedom begins the moment you choose to stop listening to those inner critics and start listening to the truth of your worth. Clearing your mind is not an act of forgetting, it is an act of remembering. Remembering that you are resilient, that you are capable, that you are enough exactly as you are. It is choosing to focus on thoughts that nurture your spirit rather than thoughts that poison it. It is learning to pause when negativity arises, to breathe, and to replace self-judgment with self-love. Each time you do this, you strengthen the habit of clarity, and your mind becomes a place where hope, courage, and creativity can flourish freely. Letting go of toxic thoughts also means letting go of the need to control everything, to predict every outcome, and to carry the burdens of the world on your shoulders. There is power in surrender, in allowing life to unfold without constant judgment or fear. When you practice this, you create space for gratitude, for possibility, and for dreams you never dared to imagine. Life does not ask you to be perfect, it asks you to be present, and a clear mind is the doorway to presence. So, I ask you now to make a choice. Will you allow the shadows to linger, or will you sweep them away? Will you continue to carry thoughts that weigh you down, or will you rise and claim the freedom that is already within you? Clearing your mind from toxic thoughts is not a single act. It is a daily practice, a sacred ritual, and a declaration that you deserve peace. Embrace it and watch how your life shifts, how your heart opens, and how your spirit begins to soar. You are not defined by the darkness that enters your mind. You are defined by the light you choose to nurture. Toxic thoughts are learned visitors, not lifelong residents. You have the power to ask them to leave. They do not belong to your true self. They are echoes of fear, doubt, and past wounds, trying to convince you that you are less than you are. The first step toward freedom is to recognize these visitors for what they are. They are temporary, and they have no authority over the brilliance and strength that live within you. Every time you become aware of a toxic thought, every time you pause and notice its presence, you take the first step toward reclaiming your mind and your peace. Too often we treat these thoughts as facts. We replay them, we nurture them, and we allow them to settle in corners of our minds where they multiply in silence. But just because a thought is familiar does not mean it is true. Just because it speaks loudly does not mean it deserves your attention. You are the guardian of your mind. You have the right to say no, to refuse, and to watch as these visitors leave without resistance. It is not an act of cruelty, but an act of courage, an act of self-respect, and an acknowledgement that your mental and emotional space is sacred. The more you practice asking these thoughts to leave, the lighter your mind becomes. You start noticing that you no longer carry the weight of criticism that belongs to someone else, or the blame that life has tried to heap upon you. You learn to distinguish between what is necessary and what is destructive, between what nourishes your spirit and what diminishes it. And in that clarity, you find freedom, the kind that allows you to dream, to create, and to live fully without the chains of self-doubt. It is important to remember that these toxic thoughts are often learned, taught by experiences, by voices from the past, by moments of pain. They are not innate, they are acquired, and because they are learned, they can also be unlearned. Each time you challenge a thought that tells you you are not enough or you will fail, you weaken its hold on you. Each time you replace it with truth, with hope, with love for yourself, you teach your mind a new language, a language of strength, resilience, and possibility. Releasing toxic thoughts does not happen overnight, and it is not always easy. They will return, persistent and familiar, but each time you greet them with awareness and let them leave, you grow stronger. You show yourself that you are in control, that your mind is yours to inhabit and curate. In this practice, you discover something profound. Peace is not the absence of thoughts. Peace is the presence of clarity, and clarity comes from the courage to say, you may visit, but you will not reside. Every word you speak to yourself, every thought you repeat in the quiet corners of your mind carries power. It may seem small, even insignificant, but these words are not harmless. They are the architects of your reality. What you tell yourself over and over again shapes your feelings, your choices, and the path you walk in life. If you repeatedly whisper doubts, fears, and limitations, your mind begins to believe them. Your spirit bends to them, and your actions follow the shadow of those thoughts. But if you speak words of courage, of hope, of possibility, even in the smallest voice, your life begins to bend toward light, toward growth, and toward the fulfillment of your true potential. We are often our own harshest critics. We replay mistakes in our minds, telling ourselves we are not enough, that we are too slow, too weak, too unworthy. These words become a script we act out, a silent guide for every step we take. And because they are repeated so often, we forget that they are only thoughts, not truths. The mind, like a fertile field, grows whatever seeds we plant in it. If we sow criticism and fear, we harvest doubt and hesitation. But if we sow encouragement and faith, we harvest strength, resilience, and the courage to rise, even when the world feels heavy against our shoulders. Change begins when you become aware of the voice inside you, when you notice the stories you are telling yourself day after day. Awareness is the first step toward transformation, because once you hear the voice, you can choose to answer it differently. You can speak words of love, of possibility, and of determination. You can remind yourself that failure is not final, that setbacks are lessons, and that your worth is never diminished by circumstance. Each repetition of positive thought reshapes the inner narrative, and with it, the life that unfolds before you. It is not enough to hope for change. Change requires intention. Speak to yourself as you would speak to someone you deeply love. Encourage, support, and honor the journey you are on. When you make this a habit, even when fear or doubt tries to creep in, the voice of possibility grows stronger. It becomes a rhythm, a pulse, a quiet insistence that refuses to be silenced. And in time, this repeated voice becomes your guide, your compass, and your shield against the negativity that seeks to claim your mind. Remember, your destiny is not written by chance. It is written by the thoughts you nurture, the words you repeat, and the vision you hold for yourself. Every day, in every choice of thought, you are shaping the life you will live. Choose wisely, speak kindly, repeat words that empower, that inspire, that lift you toward the person you are meant to be, because the voice you cultivate today will become the song that carries you into tomorrow. Healing begins the moment you stop arguing with your pain and start listening to your worth. Too often we wrestle with the hurt we carry, trying to justify it, to understand why it happened, or to punish ourselves for feeling it. We tell ourselves that if we endure enough suffering, we will somehow earn love, respect, or acceptance. But the truth is that pain is not a measure of your failure. It is a sign that you are human, that you have lived, and that your heart has felt. The first step toward true healing is to stop debating with your pain and start embracing your inherent value, the quiet truth that you are enough exactly as you are. Pain can be loud. It can shout accusations and replay old wounds until we feel trapped in its echo. Yet listening to your worth is a radical act of courage. It is saying, I am more than what hurt me. I am more than my mistakes. I am more than the judgments of others. When you pause to honor your worth, you give yourself permission to heal on your own terms. You no longer measure your value by the intensity of your suffering. Instead, you recognize that your spirit, your dreams, and your capacity to love are not diminished by what you have endured. Healing is not a race, nor is it linear. It is a gentle unfolding, a series of quiet awakenings where you begin to see yourself as the person you were always meant to be. You learn to meet your pain with compassion rather than resistance. You allow yourself to cry, to grieve, to feel without guilt or shame. And in those moments, you hear the soft but unwavering voice of your worth, reminding you that you are deserving of peace, joy, and freedom from self-condemnation. Every act of listening to your worth is an act of reclaiming your power. It is choosing to replace self-criticism with self-respect, fear with hope, and doubt with trust in yourself. Each time you affirm your value, you create space for growth, for resilience, and for possibilities that were previously hidden by the weight of pain. Your mind, once crowded with thoughts of inadequacy, begins to clear, and your heart begins to open to love, to hope, and to the beauty that life still holds. The journey of healing is ultimately a journey of self-discovery. It asks you to stop fighting against yourself and to start walking beside the person you see in the mirror with kindness and patience. It teaches you that your pain does not define you, your courage does. Your willingness to honor your worth, to listen to your own voice above the noise of doubt, is what sets you free. And when you finally embrace this truth, you will feel the quiet strength of a mind at peace, a heart unburdened, and a life unfolding with clarity, grace, and limitless possibility. You are not broken. You are becoming, and growth is often uncomfortable before it is beautiful. Life has a way of testing us, stretching us in ways we cannot always understand, and placing burdens upon our shoulders that feel far too heavy. In those moments, it is easy to look in the mirror and believe that something is wrong with us, that we are flawed, or that we are failing. But the truth is far gentler and far more powerful. You are not broken. You are unfolding, like a seed pushing through the soil, like a sunrise that must first pierce the darkness before it can shine. Growth is never a straight path. It comes with struggles, with mistakes, with nights of doubt and days of uncertainty. You may stumble, you may fall, and at times it may feel as though the world is pressing down on every part of you. But these moments are not proof of weakness, they are proof of transformation. Each challenge you face, each fear you confront, is shaping you into a stronger, wiser, and more resilient version of yourself. The discomfort you feel is the sign that you are alive, that you are learning, and that you are moving forward even when the path is unclear. It is important to remember that beauty and strength are born in the tension between struggle and patience. The caterpillar does not question its cocoon, it surrenders to the process, trusting that one day it will emerge as something magnificent. You too must trust in your own becoming. Do not rush your growth. Do not punish yourself for the moments when progress feels slow. Every tear, every setback, and every moment of vulnerability is part of the artistry of your transformation. These are the brushstrokes that create the masterpiece of who you are meant to become. Your discomfort is also a teacher. It tells you where you need to let go, where you need to forgive, where you need to rise above fear and self-doubt. When you embrace this discomfort instead of resisting it, you begin to see that it is not an enemy, but a guide. It is pointing you toward strength you did not know existed, toward courage that had been waiting quietly within you, and toward the clarity that comes when you allow yourself to grow at your own pace. You are becoming, and becoming is a beautiful, ongoing process. It is not about perfection, it is about movement, about embracing every imperfect step as part of the journey. When you look back months or years from now, you will see how far you have come, how much you have transformed, and how every difficult moment contributed to the depth, grace, and power of who you are today. The discomfort is temporary, but the growth it brings is eternal, and the beauty of your becoming is a gift only you can give to yourself. Letting go of toxic thoughts is not weakness. It is the bravest act of self-respect. So often, we mistake holding on for strength, clinging to old doubts, fears, and resentments as if they prove we are resilient. But the truth is that real courage does not lie in carrying these heavy burdens. Courage lies in releasing them, in recognizing that your peace, your clarity, and your well-being are far more valuable than any thought that diminishes you. Choosing to let go is not giving up. It is standing tall in the knowledge that you deserve a mind that nurtures you rather than one that weighs you down. Every toxic thought carries a weight, an energy that slows you down and clouds your vision. It may arrive dressed as regret, jealousy, self-criticism, or fear of failure, and it may insist on staying because it feels familiar. But familiar does not mean rightful. Familiar does not mean necessary. To let go of such thoughts is to take back control of your inner world, to claim ownership of your mind, and to honor the person you are becoming. When you make this choice, you show yourself the respect you have always deserved, and you give your spirit room to breathe, to grow, and to shine. Letting go is an act of bravery because it requires you to confront your own resistance. It asks you to see the thoughts that have lingered in silence and admit that they are not serving you. It asks you to step away from old patterns, to challenge the comfort of negativity, and to embrace the unknown possibilities of a lighter, freer mind. This is not easy. It can be uncomfortable, even frightening, because it asks you to trust yourself, to trust your ability to thrive without the familiar shadows that have clung to you for so long. But every time you let a toxic thought go, you strengthen your inner courage and you reinforce the belief that you are worthy of peace and happiness. Letting go also transforms your relationships with others. When your mind is free of toxic thoughts, you stop projecting your fears, your insecurities, and your anger onto those around you. You stop replaying old arguments or imagining slights that never happened. Instead, you engage with the world from a place of clarity, empathy, and understanding. Your energy becomes lighter, your words kinder, and your actions more aligned with your true self. This is the ripple effect of self-respect. The inner bravery of letting go reaches outward, touching every part of your life. So, when you feel the urge to cling to the toxic thoughts that try to claim your mind, remember this: letting go is not weakness. It is strength. It is bravery. It is a declaration that you will not allow fear, doubt, or anger to dictate the course of your life. It is an act of love toward yourself, the kind of love that honors your value, protects your peace, and opens the door to a life filled with clarity, joy, and limitless possibility. Choosing to release is choosing to rise. Peace does not arrive when life is perfect. It arrives when your mind learns to rest. We often wait for a day when everything is just right, when our problems are solved, our dreams realized, and our circumstances flawless, before we allow ourselves to feel calm, content, or grateful. But life rarely offers perfection, and if we insist on waiting for it, peace will forever be a distant horizon, forever just out of reach. True peace is not found in the absence of challenges. It is found in the presence of acceptance, in the willingness to allow your mind to settle even amid uncertainty. Resting your mind does not mean ignoring your responsibilities or denying the difficulties that exist. It means choosing to step back from the constant chatter of fear, worry, and self-criticism. It means giving yourself permission to breathe deeply, to pause, and to recognize that your worth and your serenity are not determined by the chaos around you. When your mind learns to rest, you discover a sanctuary within yourself, a place where clarity replaces confusion, calm replaces anxiety, and hope replaces despair. Our minds are often restless, wandering from one regret to another, from one worry to the next. We replay conversations, anticipate failures, or dwell on mistakes as though our energy must always be consumed by what has already happened or what might happen. But this restlessness is a thief of peace. When you intentionally pause and allow your mind to settle, you break the cycle of overthinking. You stop measuring yourself against impossible standards and begin to notice the quiet strength that has always been within you. Peace grows in the spaces you create between thoughts, in the moments when you simply allow yourself to exist without judgment or pressure. Learning to rest is also an act of courage. It asks you to trust that even if everything is not perfect, you can still be whole. It asks you to surrender control, to stop forcing outcomes, and to release the illusion that you must have all the answers. And in that surrender, you find freedom. Freedom from anxiety, from self-doubt, and from the constant need to prove yourself. You begin to understand that life does not have to be perfect for you to feel abundant, that calm can coexist with challenges, and that your heart can remain steady even when the world shifts around you. When your mind learns to rest, your life transforms. Your thoughts become clearer, your decisions wiser, and your heart lighter. You approach each day with a sense of balance and resilience, no longer defined by the storms you face, but by the peace you carry within. It is in this rest, this quiet surrender to the present moment, that true peace takes root. And once you experience it, you realize that perfection was never the goal. Clarity, acceptance, and the courage to rest were always enough to create a life filled with serenity, joy, and possibility. The past may have shaped you, but it does not own you or decide your future. Every scar, every mistake, every moment of regret has left its mark, and it may feel as though those moments are permanent, as though they have carved a path you cannot escape. But the truth is that the past is a teacher, not a jailer. It may have given you lessons, but it has not given you limits. What has happened before does not dictate what can happen next. You are not bound by what was. You are free to shape what will be. We often carry the past like a heavy suitcase filled with old doubts, fears, and regrets. We replay conversations, mourn missed opportunities, or punish ourselves for choices that no longer serve us. But holding on to the past is a decision, not a necessity. Each moment you continue to live in yesterday is a moment you do not spend creating the life you were meant to lead. The past can inform you, it can guide you, it can teach you, but it cannot live in your tomorrow unless you allow it to. The future belongs to the actions you take today, not the burdens you carried yesterday. Healing from the past begins with understanding that you are not your mistakes. You are not defined by the words that hurt you, the failures that humbled you, or the losses that broke you. You are defined by the strength you summon to move forward, by the courage to forgive yourself, and by the willingness to see each new day as a blank page waiting to be written. Every step you take away from regret and resentment is a step toward freedom, a step toward claiming the life that has always been possible for you. Your past may have shaped the contours of your character, but it has not written the story of your heart. You can choose to focus on the lessons it offered rather than the pain it caused. You can decide to let go of shame, anger, or fear, and instead embrace hope, gratitude, and determination. The power to redefine your future is already within you. It is in the choices you make, the thoughts you nurture, and the actions you take each day. By letting the past guide you rather than control you, you become the author of your own life. Remember, the past is only a chapter, not the whole book. You have the power to close the doors of old wounds and open the windows to new possibilities. You can step forward with clarity, courage, and confidence, knowing that who you were does not determine who you are becoming. Each day is an opportunity to rise above what was, to create what can be, and to honor your journey without being chained to it. The past may have shaped you, but your future is yours to design, and the life waiting for you is far brighter than anything that has already passed. Every time you choose hope over fear, you rewrite the story your mind tells. Fear is a voice that whispers of what might go wrong, of what you might lose, and of the shadows that could lie ahead. It wants to keep you small, to keep you cautious, to convince you that stepping forward is too risky, too dangerous, or too impossible. But hope is a louder, brighter voice. It tells you of possibility, of growth, of the strength that lies hidden within you. Each time you choose to listen to hope, you change the narrative, and in doing so, you begin to transform the life that has been written in your mind. The mind has a remarkable ability to create reality based on the stories it tells itself. If your thoughts are dominated by fear, you will see obstacles everywhere, hear doubts in every word, and feel hesitation in every step. But when you consciously choose hope, even in the smallest measure, you begin to notice opportunities instead of barriers, lessons instead of failures, and courage instead of paralysis. You teach your mind to believe that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. You begin to replace self-doubt with self-trust, uncertainty with possibility, and hesitation with action. Choosing hope over fear is not a denial of life's challenges. It is not pretending that difficulties do not exist or that pain is not real. Instead, it is a conscious decision to acknowledge the obstacles while believing that you can rise above them. It is understanding that fear is temporary, but hope is enduring. When fear knocks at your door, you do not let it dictate your journey. You invite hope in, and you allow it to guide your steps, to shape your thoughts, and to light the path forward. Each act of choosing hope strengthens you. It rewires the way you think, trains your mind to focus on possibilities, and builds resilience that lasts. Over time, the stories your mind once told about limitations, failures, or inadequacy begin to fade. In their place, new stories emerge, stories of courage, growth, and the unwavering belief that you can navigate whatever life places before you. Hope becomes not just an idea, but a lived experience, a guiding principle that colors every choice, every action, and every dream you pursue. Remember, hope is a powerful companion. It can transform anxiety into anticipation, uncertainty into curiosity, and despair into determination. Every time you choose it over fear, you are making a profound declaration that your life is not defined by limitations, that your past does not control your future, and that your mind has the power to create a story of courage, possibility, and triumph. Choosing hope is choosing life, and with each choice, you rewrite your story, one thought at a time, shaping a future that reflects the strength, resilience, and brilliance that have always been within you.